Can the government stop you from voting in Canada? The Charter says that's not a simple yes. Sections 3 to 5 of the Charter are about democracy. They set the rules for who gets a vote, how often governments must face voters, and how often Parliament has to meet. Main point 1. Section 3 is the Voting Power Clause. Section 3 says every Canadian citizen has the right to vote in federal and provincial elections and the right to run for office. But the Supreme Court says it's not just the act of dropping a ballot in a box, it's about meaningful participation. In other words, your vote has to actually matter in a real election. That's why courts look hard at laws that block people from voting. For example, the court has said prisoners can't have the vote removed just as a symbol, and it struck down a rule that blocked long-term Canadians living abroad from voting in federal elections. Section 3 also protects effective representation. That means elections should give people a real voice through their representative. It also explains why drawing election maps is a big deal. If one riding is massively bigger than another, some people's votes carry less weight. Main point 2, Section 4 is the "you must hold elections" rule. Section 4 says the House of Commons and provincial legislatures can't go longer than 5 years without a general election. There is a narrow emergency exception for war, invasion, or insurrection, and even then, the extension needs strong support. So even if a government is popular, it can't just stay forever. Main point 3, Section 5 is the "you must meet" rule. Section 5 says Parliament and every legislature must sit at least once every 12 months. This matters because a government can't avoid being questioned and debated forever. Even if it delays or pauses work, it has to come back and sit. Imagine your MP resigns. Your community is suddenly missing a voice in Parliament. There's a by-election process, but it can take time. The government can legally choose the by-election date within a window, which is why people sometimes complain that by-elections feel too slow. Now imagine a different scenario. A government passes a fixed election date law. Sounds like elections are locked in, right? Not exactly. The law sets a schedule, but it also keeps the power to call an earlier election. That's why fixed dates can be controversial. They guide the timeline, but they don't fully control it. So here's the simple takeaway. Section 3 is your right to vote and run. Section 4 stops governments from dodging elections. Section 5 stops governments from hiding from Parliament. These 3 sections are short, but they're a big part of what makes Canada a democracy under the Constitution. If you want the next Charter sections explained the same way, subscribe. This series is building toward a full Charter in 30 minutes video.